Hello and welcome to Williams Mullins Benefits Companion, a podcast that helps employers navigate the complex legal challenges of managing their employee benefit plans. I'm your host, Bryden DeWitt, and today I'll be joined by Burl Ball, Principal Financial Advisor at CapTrust, to discuss Department of Labor guidance regarding missing participants. How are you doing today, Burl?
I'm doing great, Bryden. It's great to be with you.
Thanks for being back on the Benefits Companion. The Department of Labor has recently issued some guidance, some kind of 3 layers of guidance for its own internal investigators, and guidance for plan sponsors regarding missing participants. And our plan fiduciaries have a fiduciary obligation under ERISA to all participants to make sure that they receive the benefits to which they're entitled under the plan, including participants who are difficult to find. And from time to time, my clients run into a situation where they've sent correspondence to the last known address and they're not getting anything back. Who knows whether the person still lives there or if they're just ignoring their mail, or it can get really frustrating, especially in the context of a terminating plan where you're trying to clean out the plan's accounts, clean out the trust, wrap everything up, and you can't get a response from some participants. So I think this guidance is welcome. What are some of the key elements to this missing participant guidance?
Yeah, and it really was intended, as you mentioned, when they issued it in January. The intention was to give Department of Labor auditors guidance primarily on what they should do when they go in and audit a plan. And like most of us, it's always good to be ahead of your Department of Labor auditor.
Right.
You don't want to be the one that has the drawer full of uncashed checks that have come back from your record keeper or actuary or whoever does your defined benefit plan administration, sitting in the drawer when the Department of Labor auditor arrives at your door.
Right. And so it's nice to know what they're going to be looking for.
It is.
They have this kind of, it's like inside information that's available to everybody.
It is indeed. So the first thing, obviously, that the DOL auditor is going to ask for, or you should have on hand, more importantly, they're going to ask for plan documents, they're going to ask for census records, et cetera. But right now, there's this real focus, Bryden, on steps or procedures to locate missing participants. So if you don't already, we would recommend that all of our plan fiduciaries develop and document some internal procedures. Now, these may be things you normally do, but perhaps you haven't taken the time or the effort to write them down, and then go to your record keeper, administrator for your pension plan, whoever really is issuing these distributions. Whether there be an RMD distribution, which is a regular kind of thing that you go out, whether it's a distribution because someone has left. And today, when you think about it, we've got all the baby boomers retiring, so there's lots of distributions going out. There's a pretty mobile workforce, people moving from place to place. So distributions have kind of started a while back, not to be a real stream, that could be a lot. So with all of those folks doing that, the couple of 4 key steps that we would advise is make sure your record keeper is using certified mail. At least then we have some answer, and some do and some don't. If you do end up, though, with those checks back in your hand, then what we need you to do very quickly is to try to find the participant. So you could check with a beneficiary, for example. These are just some examples of things the Department of Labor is going to look for to see if you've done. Check with spouses, check with children. Use online sources, internet engines, public records, obituaries, social media. So see if anything like that will work before you go farther. In other words, do your own research. Hopefully, your provider already has done some of that for you before that check came back. So those are some easy steps to do. Document first, make sure the procedure is there, and then start your search. So what if that, though, doesn't work? Because, sometimes you can do all the searches you want and it doesn't help. So what are some third parties you could go to? Well, especially if it's a large account balance that you're dealing with. There are credit reporting services, there are commercial locators, you could even try irs.gov, etc. Make sure you know exactly what your record keeper or administrator has done. And finding these people really is your responsibility. And there are, depending on your ability to pay for it, really, there are third-party services that you can hire, or third-party services that your record keeper can use to help you find that. And then, as always, we would advise you turn to your legal counsel to get some options as to kind of what your plan document says you need to do and how you can do it. So those are some, third-party services, online sources, beneficiaries. One that I think works sometimes is people's retirement plan records and their health care plan records don't talk to one another. So sometimes you might have a better address or information in your health plan records, because that's something people use all the time, versus what's in the records of your retirement plan. And we all know people don't always put their beneficiary online. Always a good idea to go out and really do make some real effort to make sure all your employees have beneficiaries online, because that will be, we see plans with only 50% of the participants have a beneficiary. And that can be one of those sources where you're really looking for people to be able to find them, and having a beneficiary from a legal standpoint as well as missing participant can really help.
Right. And I think, what you said earlier about documenting your process, you can do all of these things on a regular basis, but if you can't prove that you do them, or you don't have a procedure in place, or you haven't documented your efforts, then if you haven't found the person and you're investigated, you're not in good shape as if you could show proof that this is your standard procedure and that you take this seriously, that the plan fiduciaries are taking the location of missing participants seriously and have conducted a diligent search. And so, as often is the case with ERISA compliance and ERISA fiduciary duty, documenting your process, again, is important.
I would agree. And ultimately, it really does help you control costs because you don't have all those uncashed items. What are you going to do with them? Some states ultimately will allow you to escheat the money. Some states won't. So probably helps getting legal counsel to help you understand what a final procedure if everything else has failed. And basically what the Department of Labor is saying is out of sight should not be out of mind.
Right.
Think about this.
Well, Burl, with that, I'd like to thank you for coming on to the Benefits Companion. That'll wrap up our discussion. If listeners have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, please contact me. You can also visit our employee benefits page at williamsmullen.com/employee benefits. There you can find out more about our team as well as past episodes of this podcast and legal alerts. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast to be notified when our next episode posts. Thanks for listening.